What's up, guys? Gotten in the habit of doing these first impressions videos. It's kind of like the predecessor to a review. It's not really a review though. A lot of people say, well, haven't you done this video before? They did with the Line Spy. I mean, I did an initial impression and like a QC assessment because there was a lot of riffraff about the quality control of the Line Spy. It wasn't a review though. What followed that was a review. I use that term really loosely because I don't follow the same sort of cookie cutter review that everybody else does, where they just ramble off specs and say the knife is great, it's awesome, and then you're kind of left feeling like you wasted your time. I try not to do that. I just give you my opinions and my observations, and I'm a pretty unique thinker. I only know of one other person on earth that thinks probably exactly like I do, and that's Peter Moore on YouTube. He actually shares my exact name. He's Irish and I'm Irish. There's a lot of weird coincidences, and he just so happens to think literally exactly like I do. He's just a little bit more crazy than I am. So, anyway. Really got off on a soapbox. This is an official shout out for Peter Moore, by the way. If you don't sub to him, go do it. He'll make you laugh, pretty much guaranteed. His reviews are brutally honest, and it's fun to watch, honestly, because if he thinks a knife is crap, he has no problem letting you know. And it's honesty is refreshing. I try to be honest, literally honest as possible. So I hope that shines through on my videos also. But he is just brutally honest and does not care, and it's awesome. Anyway, this initial impressions video is on the Spyderco Dodo. Eric Glesser's very first ever knife design. The orange, just like the Hinderer, is washed out. It is like super hunter orange. Really vibrant, really fluorescent. The colors drown out on this camera. It is a really high-end, not really high-end, it's a mid-grade digital SLR. It's not a consumer grade by any means, but it still doesn't represent color all that well. So deal with it. It's orange. It's super orange. Really strange knife. The very first time I saw the Dodo, it was a blue Dodo. Didn't like it. Really wondered who would buy that. The more I saw it, the more it grew on me, and then at my local knife mecca, they had 5 of them in, so I got to handle them, and it's just a really cool knife. I kind of got it once I handled it. It's one of those knives that you have to handle to get, and I got it after I handled it. It's an amazingly ergonomic knife. It's ugly as a knife can possibly be, in my opinion, but it just feels really good. There's a bunch of different grips. You have this grip back here where your 3 fingers kind of fit in this groove, or you can have 2 and 2. Either way is very comfortable, actually. You can have 3 crammed in here with your pinky hanging off over here. You can have 2 in this slot and 2 on here, and just kind of rest your thumb there. That's really comfortable. That's if you need to really dig into something. Or you can choke up and put your index finger here, have your 3 fingers there, and then plant your thumb right there, and that's for your detail work, opening a package or opening a box, something such as that. You have a reverse grip where you can get real close down on it, put your pinky in the choil, plant your 3 fingers in the middle choil, and you're really far up on the blade. Or you can get back here and you have some reach. So the knife is comfortable in just about every single position that you can think of. That's a really good one too. Bird finger in the choil, these 2 fingers in the middle choil, thumb in the spidey hole, and finger near the tip. You have an extreme amount of tip control. You could dig tweezer or splinters out with that. That's an extreme amount of tip control. Like I said, it is ugly, but you have all kinds of different ways to hold it, and it just works every way. As you've already probably gathered, The blade is S30V. Hollow grind, fairly thin at the edge, and luckily Spyderco did relieve the edge back a fair amount. It's probably 30 degrees, 28 degrees inclusive, something like that, because it is a very, I would say it's probably 25 or 28 degrees inclusive, because it's a very thin edge with a very thick bevel. So you're going to have a fairly shallow edge to have that thick of a bevel with this thin of stock. So it's a probably 25, 28, something like that. That's good for the end user, because pretty much one of the only ways, short of freehanding on the Spyderco profile rods, pretty much one of the only ways to sharpen this knife is with a Spyderco sharp maker. That's not a problem for a while, but if you use this knife probably over the course of a year, 2 years, you're going to lay a micro bevel on, and the micro bevel is going to erode this secondary bevel right here that I'm touching, and it's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker as you erode it away. Pretty soon you're going to have an edge so thick that you can no longer sharpen it on the sharp maker, and then you are screwed. You're either going to need to send it back to Spyderco or freehand on some contoured rods. Not going to be a problem for me, but for the masses, it may be an issue eventually. But I did handle 5 of these. All 5 had a very, very acute edge. So as long as you have a Spyderco sharp maker, you should be able to keep this knife sharp for a couple years, depending on your usage. It's built really well, very well actually. Perfectly centered blade, buttery smooth. It is made in Golden, Colorado, so it's a Golden made Spydie, which is, I mean, I'm all for the USA made products, but Spyderco's best stuff comes from Taiwan. That's a different video though. Wire pocket clip, G10 with no liners whatsoever. That's what makes this knife so light. You have the backspacer here to support the ball bearing lock, and then you just have G10 slabs, and it's very light and very comfortable. It's an awesome knife. The ball bearing lock without the cage is still easy to manipulate, but it's not as easy with the cage. It's just held in with a neodymium magnet. The magnet attracts the steel ball, holds it in place. You can unlock it with just one finger like that from one side, but it's easiest to grab it and pinch it and then pull back. You can Spydie flick it. You can flick it closed if you want to. Absolutely zero blade play vertically or horizontally. This is literally the most brick house solid caged ball bearing, or just ball bearing lock that I've ever handled. I've handled a bunch of Manix 2s, Manix 2 XL. This is literally the most solid one that I've ever handled. So that's cool too. I'm wondering if this whole system is just built a little bit better than the one on the Manix 2, because this has a steel rod back here, and the Manix 2s have a polymer cage with a polymer rod. It just seems to be built a little bit better. The spring has less coils per inch. Is that how you measure a spring? Coils per inch? I don't know. Somebody tell me how you measure springs. I'm sure I will have already Googled it by the time you see this video. So you can still tell me. I don't care. Cool knife. It's definitely a niche kind of knife. If I want to be real with myself and real with you guys, which why be anything else, this single knife could do everything I need to do in EDC tasks. I would like people to believe, and I would love to believe, that I had a whole lot of cutting to do every day. Just not true. I find cutting to do just to entertain myself a lot of the times, but I would say this would suffice for 99.99999% of my EDC cutting tasks, which is open a clamshell package, zip open a letter, and open a box. That's about it. Maybe pop a string here and there. that's about it. And this knife will do all of that indefinitely and do it very well and do it in style, depending on how you look at it. I like the knife. This really turned into like a semi-review. I'm still going to do a formal review down the road after I use it, but I'll probably parrot a lot of the same stuff I just said here. I apologize for that. I stropped this knife out of the box, and it is ridiculously sharp. Spyderco, I think they might have paid attention a little bit more on these knives since it is so hard for the end user to sharpen. But this thing is just ridiculously sharp. It will push cut with ease and push cut slowly. It's just a wickedly sharp knife. Like them when they come like that. But anyway, that's first impressions of the Spyderco Dodo, the orange sprint run. There is a carbon fiber sprint run coming up soon. Just heard that on the forums, so be looking out for that if you like this knife. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.